I'm bringing you a story today about Irukaku and the Ikem. Once upon a time, there was this rich man, very rich man, in one town. He had a daughter. The daughter's name was Irukaku. She was very beautiful, but very arrogant. She was looking down on everybody. People came to marry her. She refused and looked on them, slighted them, told the father they were not good enough to marry her. She was the daughter of the richest man in the town. So, time went by. There was this young man that was not rich at all. He was a good farmer. His name was Ikem. He was very handsome. He did not go to look for Irukaku because he knew he was too poor. Rich people had gone and did not succeed. But then Irukaku liked him, wanted him, and told her father, that she wanted Ikem. Her father did not agree. He said, you refused all the rich people. How would you marry this poor man? This poor man will not be able to feed you, and you would slight him, and you will kill his manhood. You will not respect him as a wife. I will not let you marry him. She was angry with her father. She refused to marry any other person except Ikem. He said, go tell Ikem that he was my choice. So the father went and told Ikem. Ikem was agonized. He did not know why this rich girl would want to choose him. He knew he had no money. He knew he could not compete with other people. He didn't believe the girl would respect him. As he was agonizing over this, an old woman that liked him called him and said, come, Ikem, you will marry this girl, and I will make sure that she respects you. I will give you something when the time comes. Then I will make sure that she respects you. Ikem agreed and married Irukaku. And Irukaku's father gave them lots of wealth to live well. Ikem continued his farming in spite of the wealth. But Irukaku refused to call Ikem my husband. She kept calling him this thing. If you want something, you say, this thing, do this thing for me. This thing, do this. This thing, I want you here. Ordering him around. And he became a thing of ridicule in the village. Because every other woman called the husband my husband. And the husband would call the woman my wife. But she refused to call Ikem my husband. Ikem went back to the old woman and said, you see what you did to me? Now I am the town's joke. I'm ridiculed. Everybody laughs at me. How can I marry this woman and continue to be a husband when she cannot call me my husband? And when I call her my wife, she will not respond. The woman said, I told you when the time comes, I would show you what you would do. The woman gave Ikem a pot, an iron pot, and said, again, take her to the farm as usual. I know she doesn't do much. I know she doesn't do anything except maybe plant some greens and this around, or maybe a few cassava. But go with her to the farm. When you get to the farm, use this pot to go and get water from the river and live under the tree. And in the farm, when you people make sure you've taken your own water, you drank your own water before you put it there. When she wants to drink, let her go and drink that water. Ikem agreed. When they got to the farm, Ikem walked and walked, and Irukaku was, as usual, walking around the farm, putting little green vegetables here and there, and maybe cassava here and there, but wasn't really working hard because there was no need for the work. They had money. And Ikem at certain point went to the river, had his fill of drinking of the water, used the pot to get water, came and left the water under the tree. But then the intense sunshine made everybody thirsty, and Irukaku wanted to drink water. So she took the cup there, dipped inside the pot to take water. Everything caked, including her hand, got stuck inside the water. She couldn't remove her hand, she couldn't remove the cup. She got angry and kicked the pot, and the leg got stuck. And she was standing there, bent, with the leg on the pot and her hand inside the pot. She looked around. Ikem was far off there planting his yams. He called, this thing, I am stuck here. Can you come and help me? Ikem looked around, pretended he didn't know what she was saying, and continued planting. When he finished, he packed his opa, which is a basket, a long basket. He packed it and put on his head and was leaving. And Irukaku started singing. Ifa inafuolu enene. Ifa inafuolu enene. Ikem turned and said, Obudo onye na-ekene mụ enene. Irukaku replied, Ọ bụ Irukaku, iru nwa obute ego enene. Aka m atọ n'ite na okwere wepụta enene. Ụkwụ m atọ n'ite na okwere wepụta enene. Ehe na akwa dị ya ma ka emesịa. Ikem looked at her, put his basket on top of his head, and walked away. She was singing and calling him Ifa, Ifa, meaning this thing. My hand is stuck here, my leg is stuck here, and it's not coming out. This thing, are you leaving me, going home from work? Okay, so he left. When he reached home, Irukaku's father saw him and asked about Irukaku. He said, oh, she's at the farm. The man did not understand why Ikem would leave the daughter at the farm and come home. So he went to the farm to see what was happening with his sons. When he reached there, he saw Irukaku stuck on the pot. But the charm the woman put there made it in such a way that only Ikem could free her. So the man went to try and free her. It was impossible. The brothers tried to free her. It was impossible. As that was happening, the villagers heard what was happening at the farm, and they trooped to the farm to see for themselves. Ikem came with them, and they were watching her. It was getting late, and then everybody decided to go since she had refused to call Ikem my husband. She started calling Ikem, Ikem inafuolu enene. Ikem inafuolu enene. Ikem turned again and said, Obudo onye na-ekene mụ enene. Ọ bụ Irukaku, iru nwa obute ego nene. Aka m atọ n'ite na okwere wepụta enene. Ụkwụ m atọ n'ite na okwere wepụta nene. Ehe na akwa dị ya ma ka emesịa. Ikem continued living, didn't look back. When they had gone a little bit further and she saw that everybody was abandoning her at the farm, then she started screaming, Dim inafuolu enene. Dim inafuolu enene. And Ikem smiled, looked back and said, Obudo onye na-ekene mụ enene. Ọ bụ Irukaku, nwunye gị, iru nwa ebute ego enene. Aka m atọ n'ite na okwere wepụta enene. Ụkwụ m atọ n'ite na okwere wepụta enene. Ehe na akwa dị ya ma ka emesịa. Ehe na akwa dị ya ma emesịa. Ikem ran back, grabbed her, smiled, freed her, And then I called her my wife, and she responded. Then she called Ikem my husband. From then, she continued calling Ikem my husband, and Ikem continued calling her my wife, and showing that there must be respect between husband and wife. None should slight the other. Yes.